We are back with another news video, and it's a focus on Dynamite and AEW. We start with Tony Khan, who was on Busted Open Radio recently, and he spoke about the fact that he doesn't believe that top AEW stars will ever get along. Those top AEW stars are Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. I mean, I know that Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa's issues have not been as publicized as, let's say, CM Punk and the Elites, or Punk and Jericho's. I know that Britt Baker has gone on record a few times and spoken about her issues with Thunder Rosa. But the fact of the matter is, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you don't need to get along with your coworkers. You just need to be able to work with them and put that professional nature into place at a specific time to be able to understand that you don't need to get along. You just need to be able to work together. It's that simple. It's like Punk and Jericho don't need to get along. I mean, they don't need to like each other. They just need to get along and work together. They just need to be able to be professional and work together. Same with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. They don't need to be able to get along. I mean, they don't need to be able to like each other. They just need to be able to get along. Hate to break it to you, you don't need to like your coworkers. You just need to be able to get along with them. I speak from experience. No, I'm only kidding. I actually like most of my coworkers. But it's also a pleasant sight that Tony was not talking about the CM Punk situation and, Chris Jericho and CM Punk, or the Elite and CM Punk, or somebody. And it does suck that he was talking about it in any way, shape, or form, because it sucks that this is the situation. But situation or not, I'm glad it wasn't the normal situation that we've been hit with, because at least it's something different. You know what I mean? At least it's something different. And not just the same shit that we've been hit with over the last couple of months, repeatedly, over and over and over again. And now we shift over to more pleasant news, as the number one contender tournament was announced, where the winner will fight MJF at Double or Nothing at the end of May, with Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and Darby Allin competing for the number one contendership honors to fight MJF for the AEW World Championship. Sammy Guevara defeated Jack Perry last night on Dynamite to advance in a tournament with help from Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who actually ended up getting Sammy on his side by promises of grandeur. But I hope that Sammy understands Maxwell is not exactly somebody you should trust blindly. Maxwell isn't exactly somebody you should be trusting blindly. But the fact of the matter is, this means that Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara will fight next week. The winner will challenge Maxwell at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship on May the 28th. Now we move over, as it was announced on Dynamite on Twitter last night, that Tony Khan had officially signed somebody new, and that somebody new was Contender, who has been up in AEW here or there and sometimes from Mexico. I mean, I'm kind of surprised because I thought Commander would be in the same status as El Hijo del Vikingo, that basically he's got a contract down in Mexico, he can't come up, yada 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 yada. Or he can come up, but he can only do select dates. He's not going to come up and stay here. Yada 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 yada. I'm kind of surprised, but also props to AEW. They got another show coming up very soon, and they need more talent. So props to them for being able to secure one of the highly valued member of the indie scene, and somebody that they clearly see a lot in, as they clearly see a lot in Commander, and I think him being in AEW is the right spot for him. But now we shift over to Hangman Page, as Hangman Page's contract is set to be expiring, which I think is a lot of what we will be hearing over the next year or so with talent like Hangman Page, talent like The Elite, and The Elite, MJF, members of WWE, members of the WWE roster, etc., etc. A lot of people's contracts are going to be up over the next couple of months, because, simply put, when people in AEW started with the company, they signed a 3-4 year deal, and the contracts are coming up. Same with WWE. You sign a 3-4 year deal, your contracts are coming up. It does seem like, unlike his cohorts in the former Elite, if anybody would re-sign with AEW, it is Hangman Page. And that it's just a matter of, it's basically a formality at this point that Hangman will re-sign with AEW at some point. It's just basically the early stages of the contract negotiation. And at this point, it's more a circumstance of just figuring out the deal and negotiating to a more, I don't want to say proper timing, but a more state of mind where both parties are satisfied, I guess is the best way to put it. And now we move over to new champion crowned on Dynamite. This is, how do I put it? There's a reason why I wanted to save this for last, and the reason why I wanted to save this for last is because, well, second to last, is because I don't really understand it, and that is that Wardlow defeated Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT Championship, becoming the new TNT Champion and the second person, I believe, to win the title 3 times. I understand you want to hotshot the belts, but hotshotting a title never works. Hotshotting a title never works, and that's something that the AEW should keep in mind. It doesn't help the talent, it doesn't help the title, it doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. And I think that either you should have used people within QT's grasp to keep Wardlow away from the title a little longer, and maybe held off the title change until Double or Nothing. Knowing them, they may do another title change at Double or Nothing with Powerhouse Hobbs regaining the belt. But, I don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. I don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. The other part of what I wanted to mention was, I think that the perfect rivalry for Adam Cole for his return is a rivalry against the JAS, because there's plenty of cannon fodder for Adam Cole to take advantage of, and it will be easy to get him a few wins and get him more antiquated to being back to AEW, as opposed to just putting him in a random feud or giving him back to the world title picture because right now he's not needed. So I think a feud with the JAS. And also, if you haven't seen it yet, there was an interesting segment on last night's Dynamite involving the JAS, Adam Cole, Britt Baker, and the Outcasts. So take a look at that because it, well, I mean, for lack of a better word, it could lead to some interesting intergender tag team matches over the next couple of months between those parties that I mentioned, which would be honestly quite interesting. You know, but I mean, I'm a fan of it, and I like, I like the idea. I mean, I know people are critical of the JAS or have been critical of the JAS because of how feuds within the JAS normally go, or with the JAS normally go. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens because I'm liking the idea of maybe the Outcast, Britt Baker, and Adam Cole and the JAS being able to do something together. Either way, though, that is it for the news, and I will see you in the next one.